Hello and good weekend to you. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto OMNIA trade of the day for Sunday, the 28th of March. We'll start out today's newsletter looking at Bitcoin. We usually spend a little bit of time every weekend looking at Bitcoin in terms of its technical setup and also secondarily looking to stack sats. What can we do to increase our edge on stacking sats at a better value for this? So right now we have Bitcoin in quite a flag pattern at this point, which to me is just a larger consolidation pattern. The way I'm reading this is after this initial strong move here, this is just part of a consolidation. So even the second swing up, what's just part of the consolidation, just a larger pattern that we have. And the reason that we say this is because looking at the market fractals at this point, the weekly chart had gotten to be really exhausted. And now we've got it back to the point where it's in good shape. Now looking at the monthly chart, I don't think we have any hope for this thing as we're into super exhaustion, the likes of which we haven't seen since like 2013, beginning and end of that, as well as 2017. So we've gotten to a 2017 level of rip to the upside. Now looking at the log chart, everything still looks pretty normal. It looks like we have quite a ways to go before we're going to equal either of these two primary swings before that. So the swings back in 2012, 2013, as well as 2016, 2017, looks like we're just getting started, maybe as little as halfway through this move. Let's start the process by going through the expected move of the forward price movement. Now I'm going to use the April 30 options here in Deribit. And what we're doing is taking the at the money straddle. So the calls and the puts at the money at the closest strike price, which is about 56,000. And it has come down a little bit this week. The upper expected move is up to 65,220. And the lower expected move is moved up to 46,420. So we've seen a lot of compression in just the last week. And so we're going to move that out there. And this is our probability envelope for the next month, with a 68.2% probability that the price will be in this envelope based on what the options market is showing. So again, I've seen this compress quite a bit over the course of the last week. So volatility is coming out of this market, and what we're seeing is more likely that we're going to see more consolidation or choppy price behavior. And now along the way, we're trying to figure out where support or resistance is. Where is value on this chart? Well, I would say it's going to be somewhere around 50,000 down in this area here. So the price could fall out of this pattern and go as low as around this area, but I don't think it's going to stay there for very long based on where the volume profile is. I believe that's going to provide support in the near term. There's another node that's up here. This could provide a little bit of resistance, or the price could just continue to coil around in this area. Now, I don't know how much that monthly exhaustion is going to affect things going forward. So we could have an extended consolidation on our hands. What I want to do at this point, now, when we did this a month ago, it was fairly easy because what we did was we just sold into the pullback. So we sold puts right at the money, and we had a limit order sitting down here at 42,000 at the swing test. So that was a fairly easy decision. Today, it's not quite as simple as that. So we've had a rally over the last couple of days. I'd prefer to get in down here at this point. So now that I have my LedgerX account ready for the next trade, the question becomes, where do we sell that put at? And then number two is, for the limit orders that I'm using, where should I set up a limit order to just take myself into more BTC? So let's tackle these one at a time. First of all, let's talk about the cash secured puts. Now, I could be selling something right at the money and get a pretty good credit. And if I did that, that's going to work out really nicely if the price does break from here. But my sense is that any time that we sort of chase after a move like that, it usually doesn't work out very well for us. The best entries that we always get are the ones that are contrarian, where we get involved into a cash secured put on an outright pullback down to a level that we'd be a willing buyer at. So to me, that's going to be somewhere 45 to 50. It's going to be somewhere down in this range of 45,000 to 50,000. Now, I could be totally wrong. The price could break out from here and leave me high and dry, and that's a risk that I'm willing to take. I'd rather accumulate at better prices rather than chase after a rising asset like this. So with that in mind, that price target of 45 to 50,000, let's go over to LedgerX and see what's available for the next couple of option series. Here's my LedgerX interface, and what we're looking at is the various, this is for BTC versus the US dollar, and I'm looking at the 2021 April 2nd series, which is about less than a week or so, and that's not going to work out too well because there's just nothing there. Now, I could sell something short term up here at about 52,000, but really it's not going to provide much. So on one contract, I'm going to make about $5 maybe, which is just not worth it. The next series is April 30th, which is just about a month away, just a little over a month away. And then we go out to June, and that's too long. That's too long. So I could certainly sell something for June, but then I'd be sitting on my thumbs for months waiting for that position to expire. Now, depending on whether this works out or not, I may be forced into doing this, but my sense is that probably they're going to be printing the May series pretty soon, maybe as early as Monday. So we'll watch for that. But for right now, my target is going to be on the 30 of April options. So remember, from looking at the chart, we talked about entering these strike prices around here. So 45 to 50,000 or so. Now let's see what kind of return that we could get if we entered this trade. So let's just assume that we got 2,500 for one contract. So this is going to be $25 per contract, and that's going to be for the 50,000 strike. So that's going to require $500 in margin, and that's a 5% return, which is not bad. So again, the price is right here. I could probably get into 50,000. I think what I'm going to try, and this is just for the next couple of days, and I'll kind of walk you through my decisions on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for the credit that's available at this strike price, but I'm going to trade this strike price. So what I'm going to do is to put a limit order in for 2,500 at this strike price here at 45,000, which is not going to get filled. And if it does get filled, great. But it's very, very unlikely to get filled. So what's going to happen is the price is going to have to drop down over the next few days. And so everything in this option chain is going to have to shift down. And if that's the case, then I just sort of take myself into the order at 45,000, which to me is a better strike price to enter than 50,000. I'd rather be a willing buyer at 45,000 for that contract or for that amount of BTC than I would be at 50,000. So again, the risk is for this strategy is that the price just either stays steady or just takes off and leaves me high and dry. But the least I can do is try, right? So never up, never in. So the way I'm going to do this is just click on the bid here. At this point, we're going to go to the order entry interface. Just going to enter one contract here at this point, and the price I'm going to put at 2,500. And they're going to say, that's outrageous. We're never going to fill you at that point. But it's my point not to be filled right now. So I'm just going to sell this, and we're going to ensure that this is good till canceled, and we'll sell that order. Okay. So it's received and it's working away. So I will update you over the next few days as to whether or not the price comes down and fills me. I'm not going to pay all that much attention to the order on a day-by-day basis, but if we need to adjust it or if we need to move out to the May cycle or do those things, probably by the end of this week, I will find a way to get a fill somehow, some way through LedgerX. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to put a limit order out there for a good till cancel buy. Now, remember, we did a 42,000 limit buy, and that one got close, but it never got filled. So what I want to do is determine a level based on what I see in the technicals here is what's the lowest price that it's likely to go to and to give me a chance of a fill. And I would say at this point, maybe 45,000 is about the best we're going to do for this. So what I want to do, I'm going to go over to a different broker, Coinbase Pro, and adjust my order for 45,000 for this and move it up from 42,000 so that I can just put that order out there, good till cancel, just not worry about it, and let myself get taken in. So here's the original order, and it's still out there, and this is unlikely to be filled. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and cancel it. And that's canceled. It's no longer in play. All right, so here's the Coinbase interface. We're going to focus on this, and we're going to make our limit price $45,000. And we're going to just click over here, max, which is going to give us that certain amount of BTC. And so we can put this in. We're going to place this buy order through a limit order, buy limit, place buy order. And there we go. So if we go over here to orders, we can see that there we go. There's a buy and the status is open. That was very simple. We're just going to let that one sit out there, wait till the price comes down to 45,000, take ourselves in. And then if that does occur, we're going to be the proud owners of another 0.011 BTC. All right, let's move on from Bitcoin. We have Ethereum, which is in the same type of pattern. So this is just a big consolidation pattern. Let's go ahead and put the fractals on here and see where we are from an energy perspective. We're starting to lose a little bit of energy on the daily chart with a downside move. But if that's the case, then the weekly chart should be coiling up, and it certainly is. Let's take a look at the monthly chart with Ethereum, and it too is just showing the same type of 2017 exhaustion at this point from this super move. So we could be in this pattern for a little bit longer, but right now I like the way the weekly chart's looking. We may see one more dip back down here, and so this pattern may continue for a while. Be interesting to see if these continue the same assault as before, or whether we're going to get into more of that consolidation due to the monthly chart. Looking through the rest of the coins in the top 20, I'm not really seeing anything that's outstanding right now. A couple of coins are doing really well, like Theta setting up beautifully with a high and tight pattern here. This is a classic consolidation off of a super move to the upside. We're seeing things like Zilliqa has been, well, this is the wrong chart to look at. Let's look at it, Zilliqa versus USD. And this one is consolidating nicely. That's looking pretty good. Even NEO is starting to wake up a little bit. This is more of a triangle consolidation that's setting up for NEO at this time. Decred is still looking really good. It's in a flag pattern, fairly high and tight and close to the all-time highs. We have REP versus USD is consolidating, big consolidation pattern, so this is not going to move anytime soon. And basic attention token still looks really pretty good. Now, with Bitcoin kind of idling in second gear, we would expect to see some of the altcoins really take off from here, and some of them are, to a certain extent. Very few of them are really getting it on and moving. So this is a good one here. Engine versus BTC has been consolidating nicely. This looks really good. We have CVC, big time long-term consolidation. Icon is setting up a nice little base pattern here at this point. Watch for the breakout above 4,600. This is a super pattern. This is Decentraland versus BTC is looking really, really good. And one of the best coins that we've seen in a while has been the Harmony coin versus BTC. And this is setting up really nicely right now. So a break above 340 would be an entry on this. You can see the energy starting to come back up again. Probably exhausted on the weekly chart, certainly is. But again, with coins like this, they tend to pump like crazy for a limited time, and then they get bashed back down, kind of like a whack-a-mole game. And finally, last coin to look at today is Flow versus BTC. This one has been steadily grinding higher, working itself against a strong BTC reference currency. So this one is looking pretty good on a breakout above 240. All right, folks, that is it for this weekend's report. We'll keep you updated on any entries that we have on BTC, whether through options or just through limit orders. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on Monday.